What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Lakers suffered their fourth straight road loss. They are now 3-4 on the season, and all four of their losses have came on the road. Gotta win road games. Not win an NBA championship without winning on the road. You're just not. Right? Every team has to win on the road if they're going to win an NBA championship. I mean, Denver won on the road. Miami, how did they get to the NBA Finals? Winning on the road. How did the Lakers get to the conference finals? Winning on the road. If you don't win on the road, you're not going to have success in this league. Now, it is super early in the season. I would rather all of these issues and flaws and problems all be at a head now rather than, game 70. I'd rather in game 7 than game 70. But still, there are definitely things of concern with this Lakers team, right? But the big question is, and the question that I want to pose to all of you, so of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Also, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, never miss any of my videos. But the question I want to pose to you all is, can we properly judge the Lakers fairly right now? Now, since the start of the season, the Lakers have been dealing and suffering with a ton of injuries, right? I mean, you've had Jared Vanderbilt yet to play a game during the regular season for the Lakers. Gabe Vincent is out, and he's supposed to be missing 2 weeks. Taurean Prince, the Lakers just got back in the Miami game. He was a little rough, but you kind of expect that since he's been out. Rui Hachimura's out. We get Taurean Prince back, but guess what? Jackson Hayes is out, right? And, Anthony Davis, he deals with an injury. We'll see what happens to him. Hopefully he is good. He says he'll be okay. He says he'll be ready for the Houston game. But, it's definitely a concern for the Lakers. Now, the depth and overall talent of this Lakers roster is undeniable. It's great to have, right? But it's only good when guys are available. Right? It doesn't matter how much depth you have, but if half of your team is missing, then you're in trouble, right? The depth and the talent is nice when, if LeBron needs a night off, or Reeves needs a night off, or Rui needs a night off, right? If Vando was hurt, cool, right? It's not cool, but you get my point. We can weather Vando being out. If Rui was out, cool, right? Prince, Hayes, whomever, Vincent, okay. But when all of them are out, then it becomes a problem because it's we run into an issue that we had against Miami where we only had 6 rotation guys towards the end of that game. And so when you look at the Lakers, I do think that it's a concern that the Lakers have yet to win a game on the road. It's great that the Lakers have won all their home games because you need a win at home too. You need to protect home court. That's important. That's significant. But I also think that there is a big part of that goes into the injuries and lack of personnel that are available, right? Because, when you have guys that are injured and they're not able to play, it's the next man up mentality, right? You get next 5 guys, boom, step up. We got 5 guys out, you 5 guys, time to step up, right? And you need to see that from Cam Reddish, Max Christie, 2 guys that, there were even questions if they would get playing time at all, are now having to play 30 minutes a game, right? And yes, they're filling in that role, they're filling in that gap, but when you're at home, it's different. The crowd is in your corner, right? You get a little behind, it's the crowd's still giving you that energy to fight. You go on a run, boom, the crowd's right back in it. It's just a different atmosphere. Players, especially role guys, especially young guys, usually play better at home than they do on the road. The Lakers are a very young team, right? So you add in that, and then you look at them on the road, and it's well, you don't have the home crowd in your favor. You have the nerves and the jitters of that, right? You go into a hole, and it's now it's anytime you go on a run to try to get back into it, the energy is against you rather than with you. And that we have seen over the course of all sports can be a factor. Now, I don't think that that's the sole reason why the Lakers are struggling. I think a lot of it is just lack of energy, lack of rebounding, lack of just basic playing basketball is a big part of it also. But I do think that there is a level of degree in which that is a factor. That the fact that the Lakers have all these injuries and then are playing all these, they've played more road games than they've played home games, and they have 2 more coming up with the Houston Rockets and then the Phoenix Suns. I think that there is a level of like, okay, we don't have the bodies and the veterans and the guys that are supposed to be our main core, right? So we're not able to mesh and gel and build that chemistry and have that understanding and have the guys that can come through on a big moment or a big night, right? And now we're going to guys that are designed to play limited roles or maybe not the type of role or maybe not as big of a role and are now having to step up in this type of environment. It's just, I definitely think it's a factor, right? And I mean, any missing of guys, I think is a factor, right? Like Jared Vanderbilt, you don't think Jared Vanderbilt might have helped us win some of these games? Of course. Like, again, I don't think Jared Vanderbilt is the be-all, end-all. Like, I don't think he's the cure-all. I don't think he's, the Michael Jordan secret just sauce or anything. Like, I don't think it's anything like that. Like, same thing with Jackson Hayes, same thing with Rui, same thing with Vincent, same thing. But I do think all of them together could be that factor, right? But I do think that any individual one could change the scope of an individual game, right? Let's take the Heat game, for example. If we had Jackson Hayes, do we win that game against the Heat? Now, some may argue no. I would argue it's very likely because he goes down. Now you're going smaller. You're relying on Christian Wood a lot more, which is fine. You probably still rely on Christian Wood regardless. But now, instead of him having to be the 5, you could run Jackson Hayes at the 5 and then Wood at the 4. So now you're bigger. Jackson Hayes is a constant rim pressure threat. He's a big body that could be a deterrent at the rim. He's also a guy that could help you rebound the basketball. Good pick and roll defensive big, right? Like towards the end of the game, which I do not like that the Lakers took 5 straight threes to close the game rather than just getting to the basket down 1. But what if Jackson Hayes gets a couple of those misses and they're an offensive rebound and gets a putback or a kick out and maybe that bucket is a bucket or, there's a breakdown and collapse of the defense or now you got this big body who can be a roll threat. Maybe LeBron, instead of taking some of those threes, lobs it up to Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes gets the dunk, right? Like there's a lot of factors and I get that it's a what if, but it goes into the point of like, any one of these guys can make an impact and can slightly change some of these games, right? I mean, we've seen what Prince has been able to do in some of these games, right? He's been a little inconsistent, but I do think he'll kind of balance out. And I don't really judge him for the Miami game because it was his first game back. But, if we get Rui back, which I hope we get Rui and Hayes back for that Houston game, so that way they both kind of have a game under their belt before the Suns game, because that's when I think we're really going to need them more than anything. But like if those 2 guys are back for the Rockets game, those are 2 guys that can absolutely make an impact, right? Rui is a guy that's sizable, can defend multiple positions, can knock down the 3 ball. His shot was starting to fall. Absolute butter and money from the mid-range. A guy that could easily go give you 20 on any given night. Right? Like that is something that would be huge, right? Like that is a guy that can absolutely change the course of a game. Jared Vanderbilt, right? He's a guy that defensively can defend and slow down the best player on the other team. You don't think that has a factor? That could be an element for, more success for the Lakers? Of course. Right? Like his energy is contagious. His ability to rebound and just kind of just cover so much ground. That's something that could be an impact. Gabe Vincent, point of attack defensive guard, a guy that can get after it, able body that can make plays, knock down the open shot. I know he has struggled shooting, but you got to imagine at some point his shot is going to come around. Like all of those things, I think are things that are impactful and important in which the Lakers need these guys. Again, the depth is wonderful if you have the bodies to supplement, a guy or 2 being out. right? Like having two guys out is one thing. It's another thing to literally have, 5 of your top 8 rotation guys, right? So then that now becomes a problem. And so I do think to a level, it's kind of hard to fully judge. Like and I've talked about it before, I cannot fully judge the Lakers until they're healthy. I'm frustrated, absolutely. There's no excuse, in my opinion, for the loss of that Miami game, right? Like, that Orlando game was inexcusable because, yes, we didn't have bodies. And it's not, and to me, the Orlando game wasn't like that we lost. It was the fashion in which we lost. If Orlando just shot the lights out, so, okay, I can live with that, right? Like, it happens. It's basketball. It's the NBA. Like, these are NBA players. Guys can absolutely shoot the lights out. It happens. Like, if that happened and we lost and we got blown out because they just couldn't miss, okay. But that's not what happened. Like, it was just lack of energy. Guys not hustling. Guys not playing their part. Like, doing the basic, simple basketball things that they teach you when you're 5. Like, it's just those are the things that are frustrating to me. Again, I'm not saying the Lakers aren't without a level of concern. They absolutely are. But I don't think, like, so many people are ready to, like, write off the Lakers, and Lakers are this, and Lakers are that, and it's like, what are we talking about here? Right? Like, let's let this team fully get together. Let's let this team fully kind of put the pieces together, because how do you build chemistry? How do you build relationships? How do you build an understanding? You can't replicate actual NBA games. You can run all the practices, all the scrimmages. You can do all of it. Hang out, go to the movies, have pillow fights and sleepovers, whatever. Pause. But, like, the point is that, like, you can do all those things and build the chemistry, but it's not the same thing as actual real-time gameplay. It's a completely different beast. And the only way you get that is by guys being on the court and able to play. So I just don't think that we can properly judge the Lakers yet. But those are my thoughts and opinions, and as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with me? Do you think that, hey, Lakers aren't healthy. How do we properly judge them? How do we know what this team is really capable of, or how they will look when we haven't even seen the full roster play? Do you think no? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. I appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.